Fat Man the Beard here. I just got back from Comic-Con on Saturday evening. Today is Monday because I had to work Sunday. So I just wanted to do a little video showing off all the stuff I got from Comic-Con, talk about it, the good, the bad, the ugly. Sorry, cat's in here. He has to be. He's very needy. He's a good boy. You're a good boy. So yeah, I just want to talk about Comic-Con. This is put on by Wizard World. This is one of the items. I guess you guys can see this, the walking Deadpool. I had to get this t-shirt. It was awesome. And the nice thing about it is a lot of the booths there don't sell bigger sizes, which is weird because it's Comic-Con and fat people go to Comic-Con. They're your demographic. It's not fat shaming. I'm fat. It's just the reality. But luckily I found this booth selling this really cool shirt. It's a 60-40 blend. It was in my size and it kicked ass and it was only 20 bucks. So I was like, yeah, I have to have this. So this is one of the things I got. Let's start off with, so Wizard World has been going on now. This is Portland's 4th year of doing Wizard World Comic-Con in Portland. We have gone every year since it started. This is by far, this one was by far the worst. And for many reasons. Continually, the biggest problem too, and if you go to conventions, any of the Wizard World conventions, you'll probably run into the same problem, is the strollers. Parents, don't bring, if your kids are 12 or, if they're 12 or older, fine. If they're under 12, don't bring your kids. There's nothing at the convention. You think, you really do, Comic-Con, you think it's geared for kids, but in absolutely no way is Comic-Con geared for kids. Yes, there is a shit ton of toys and t-shirts and fun things and other, it's a sensory overload, and that's the problem, is it's a sensory overload. And so kids, are running around crazed. There are kids with strollers, there's kids with 2 kids in strollers, and they're, babies up to 3 or 4 years old, and it's screaming and crying, and you're constantly getting rammed by a stroller or can't get through in to see something because there's a stroller in the way. And just stop bringing your damn kids. It's really not. You think it is, but it's not. Collectibles, comics, all this stuff is high-end. There's nothing geared for, there's no toys really geared for children there. It's just not that kind of place. So parents, stop bringing your kids. It's just, it's such a frustration for me. So here's a lot of the other downside of it. So we went in there, the first booth that we go to, we try to, if they're there, they weren't there last year, I know, I see you, was a company called Convention Exclusives. They have a website, you can order all their stuff from them. They are the ones that do the Stan Lee pops. They've got the contract for that. The Funko, you guys know what I'm talking about, the Funko Pops of Stan Lee. So we walk right up. I won't say what I buy because I'll get to my haul, but my wife buys a Severus Snape. She goes up, she goes, how much? And the guy goes, 20 bucks. And she goes, really? It was in the $12 section. She goes, nope, that one's sold out everywhere. You can't get it anywhere. She goes, good luck finding it in the convention. 20 bucks. The wife's like, oh fine, I just want to complete my collection. She gave her 20 bucks. We leave, we go on the con. Well, we start going around, and actually a booth right across the way from them was selling it for $12. So we come back, we light her up, because we drop a ton of money with them. They know us and they recognized us. And she goes, I don't know what to tell you. She goes, this is what we paid. She goes, what we paid, and to make money, we have to sell it for this. She goes, and I lost my shit a little, and so she goes, fine, I'll call my manager and see what I can do. She goes, come back later on. So we did finally circle back a couple hours later, and she goes, all I can do is refund your money. Great, give us her 20 bucks back. We walked right over to the other booth, bought the other one for $12. So be very leery with convention exclusives if you run into them at the convention. The third year we went to Comic-Con, I walked right up to their booth and dropped like $200 in one sitting. Like, they know that I spend money there, and the guy that owns it knows me. He's seen me several times, we've talked, I've actually traded stuff with him. So, best be leery of things like that. The Funko Pop market is very weird right now. There's a lot of people that are hiking things up more than what they really are. In fact, if we had been smart, we got on eBay later, and you can buy Severus Snape all day long for $11 to $12 on eBay. There's a million of them. So just be leery of that stuff. So anyway, we tried to go. We were meeting James Marsters, William Shatner, and Cassandra Peterson and Elvira. The first thing that was up was Cassandra Peterson's photo shoot. So I said, great. I bought a ticket, got in line, waited for about 45 minutes, get up there. They've got curtains, and it lets you into the photo area. And the curtain opens as I walk through, and she's not in the Elvira outfit. It's just Cassandra Peterson in a regular top and jeans, and that's it. And I'm devastated because I just paid $60 to get a picture with Cassandra Peterson, which is cool. Hold on. Which is cool, but very frustrating, as in the previous years she's been at Wizard World, I saw the pictures of people getting their photos with her. She's in the full Elvira getup. I'm paying $60 because I am under the impression she's going to be dressed up as Elvira. Now, I can show the photo that I have to 100 people, and maybe only 10 to 15 are going to go, oh, that's maybe 10 or 15. Maybe only 2 or 3 are going to say, oh, that's Elvira. And I show a picture of me with Elvira, and probably out of 100, 85 are going to know who that is. 90 probably are going to know who that is. So I'm just crushed because I assumed that is what she was going to do. Why she didn't do it, I'm not mad at her necessarily, but I feel like I was duped because all the promotion said, get your picture with Elvira. Like, you assume, I'm sorry, but Cassandra Peterson is Cassandra Peterson. But everything promotional wise for her was saying it's Elvira. And I think, and the guy behind me, oh, he was more crushed because, you could tell he had an Elvira shirt on. He actually had a BC Rich electric guitar with, it was a special made one that had Elvira on the guitar itself. It probably cost him a fortune. And because I get up there and I see that it's not her, and I'm waiting, and I look back at him, and he's just crushed as well. You could just tell this was this one chance to meet her probably, and he's just devastated. And I think that was the general consensus from all the people as we were walking down to pick up our photos, was just like, oh my god, I thought she was going to be Elvira. So that just from there on out, the convention kind of went downhill for me because I was really upset. Had I known that, I would absolutely not have paid the $60. I was super frustrated, super upset. So then right after that immediately, she went right from there to signing. So I did actually get into the booth to get the comic book signed. She is a very sweet woman. She signed my comic book, and that was a cool experience. So there was that. The other thing about the convention was, and I feel like I'm understanding this. Hold on, I've been drinking some coffee. I'm not awake yet. Wizard World started out its first year with 6 conventions, Portland being one of them, Chicago, Sacramento, and New Orleans, and they were major cities. And now they're in every state basically, with the exception of they never go to Arizona. But sorry Ryan and Butch, but nobody really wants to go to Arizona. I don't think they ever have done a convention in Arizona, and a few states. But now they're branching out, and what I'm seeing now is the amount of vendors, the quality of vendors, and the quality of merchandise was horrible this year. I was going there in the hopes of buying up vintage toys, especially Star Wars stuff. I found one booth that had some loose action figures, but they were way overpriced. Other than that, I saw nothing vintage. There was no vintage. No, there was one booth that had a bunch of vintage Mego figures, but they were priced a little out of my budget. But there was a bunch of booths that are normally there, like Dark Horse. They're a big comic book company, and they're based out of Portland. They didn't even show up. Another comic book company, Xenoscope, they're a very big company. They didn't show up. They didn't have hardly any convention exclusives. Usually they have a toy or a bunch of comic books or a bunch of things that are exclusive to that convention. They had one Doctor Who comic book was the exclusive, and I think there was one other thing. So overall, this was the worst Wizard World Comic Con I've been to. It was just a really horrible setting. It really was. Like, there was weird booths there. Like, there was a booth where you could give blood. There was just a lot of strange booths that just absolutely didn't fit in with the convention. The general feel from people there was like confusion of like a lot of the booths. The big one there's a one I've been returning to. He's called MTC Toys. He's a very big vintage toy seller. I always buy a ton of stuff from him. He shows up. All he's selling is t-shirts. He has a huge, massive booth set up selling pop culture t-shirts. So I was just like so devastated. So overall, this was not a good experience. I think what's happening is all these vendors are getting spread too thin. There's too many conventions going on. They can't be at all of them. It's just a nightmare. I think they need to scale down and provide quality conventions. So on the downside, there was that. Now, the positive side of the convention. I bought a ticket to get William Shatner's signature. His line was massive. I thought, okay, I'll come back to a later signing. And then for some reason, we went and looked around, and I doubled back, and just happened to be, I look over at his line, there's 3 people. So I grabbed my comic book out of my wife's backpack, and I ran over there, and walked right up. And by the time I got up there, there was one person finishing up, and I was the only one in line. I walked right up to William Shatner, and he was I've heard lots of negative things about him, but he was the nicest guy. He just goes, "Hey, how are you doing today?" I mean, just very like personable and like, "How are you enjoying the convention?" And I was like, "Oh," I feel like starstruck. I'm like, "Oh, pretty good, Mr. Shatner." And he goes, and so I handed him the comic book, which when all my comics get back, I'll show you guys. And I hand him the comic, and he goes, "Oh, I've never seen this one." And it's all of the cast's faces, just like from the neck up, kind of at the top, and it's in space, and then it's got the Enterprise below. And he goes, "Do you mind if I sign on the Enterprise?" I go, "By all means, please." That's so awesome. So he signed it, and he goes, "This is really cool. I like this." And he hands it back to me. He goes, "Man, you have a great day." And he goes, "You know, I'm selling a book here too." And I go, "Yeah, I just can't afford it." And he goes, "If you decide to buy one," he goes, "I normally don't do this, but I like you, kid." And he goes, if you come back to buy a book later, I'll sign it for free." So I thought that was really cool of him. He was a really nice guy. And then we did some looking around, and then we came back to James Marsters, who is Spike from Buffy. His line was massive, so we had to wait a long time for him. But when we finally did get up there to get a comic book, my wife's getting a comic book signed by him. He was awesome. In his line, he's trying to make money. He's got, in fact, I'll tell you why. He was charging $20, and you could take a selfie, actually like 2 or 3 selfies, with your own personal cell phone for $20, which is a pretty good deal. He'll get up out of the booth, walk around, put his arm around you, and me and my wife and you probably, if you follow me on Facebook, you saw the picture. So we took this selfie with James Marston. My girlfriend wasn't going to do it. She's like, $20? I was like, $20 to Spike, who's like your crush? She's like, no. I'm like, you'll immediately regret this. And he comes up and he puts his arm around my girlfriend, and or my wife, and she just melts. And we take a couple selfies, and they turn out really well. And she's just like on cloud 9. She's so ecstatic. She had a really great time. I go, James, I gotta ask you something. Do you have the black duster that you wore through the whole series? And he goes, no. He goes, I tried to take it. The prop handlers, or I guess they're prop wranglers or whatever they call them, they wouldn't let me take it. And then after the show was over, the jacket was actually auctioned off for $250,000. And he goes, I was so pissed. He goes, I have 2 girls that are in college and one is definitely going to grad school. And he's like, I have no idea how I'm going to pay for this. So he goes, I definitely could have used the money. And so he was a very cool guy. And like I said, when all of our comics get back, we'll show all you guys all that. I did buy a few things. Hold on, let me drive a little more of this high octane into me. Drinking it out of my Kylo Ren mug. Can't see that. Very, very cool. One thing that I have been looking for a long time, because I went through a bunch of my tubs, because I've got a lot of my toys are in big plastic tubs because I have no room because we're in an apartment. And I have a lot of shit. And what I've noticed is I have a lot of reaction figures. Oh my gosh. I have so many reaction figures. But the one I've been looking for, very hard to find on eBay, very hard to find in any store. And I walked up and finally found the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one. That was the last, this was the one I've been looking for. Until they come out with something new, this is the one I really wanted to get. I'm going to show you the back too. I'm telling you right now, if you find this, if you find 2 or 3, pick them up, because as fast as they put them on eBay, they disappear. So I see these came out later in the horror series, and they're very difficult to find. This one it is punched, but it's in mint condition, and it was the only one at this booth. And with the exception of one item, I bought everything. There was one booth. This guy had so much kick-ass shit. He had the best stuff at the convention, hands down. He had one left, and luckily it was mint. So I finally scored my Leatherface reaction figure to finish up my horror series for now, until they come out with more. And then I bought one item at the convention exclusives, and I got this for a good price, considering this is going for about $60 to $65. I got it for $35 at convention exclusives, and that is the Stan Lee Kamikaze exclusive. This came from, Stan Lee puts on Kamikaze down in, I think, somewhere in LA every year, and it's him in a, I don't think you might be able to see it from the side view. And then on the back you can see, on the side you can see he's in the cape. And then on the back you can get, there's him in a blue, same outfit, but it's blue and gray. There's a gold, a silver, and then there's a question mark one. I don't know what that is all about. So I got that for a very good price. It's in perfect condition. And I think there was only one other left, and so I snagged that, and that was a great score. I do have another Stan Lee one in there. I think I've shown it off in previous ones, and it says, I think it just has him opening up his shirt, and it says Excelsior on it. Some of these, I know the gold one, I saw the gold one there, it was $110. The silver one was about $75. And I don't know what this question mark one is. I'm not sure if that's something that's like a chase thing or what the deal is. So I was very happy to get the Stan Lee pop. Let's see, what else did I buy? Okay. Oh, I got 2 more items. This one, this is the most expensive toy I paid for at the convention. As soon as I saw him, I was like, oh man, I've got to have this. So, same booth that I bought the reaction figure. And I talked to a guy in a previous line. He goes, he's only got 2 of them. I've just bought one. He's got 1 left. So, I knew what booth it was. So, after we got online at James Marsters, I ran over. He still had it. And that is the Walgreens Chase Green Goblin. He's metallic. and he is in absolutely perfect shape. This is the new series ones. You've got Black Suit Spider-Man, Iron Spider-Man, and Taskmaster. But for me, really, the Chase Green Goblin Metallic one was the one out of this that I really wanted. I ended up paying $50 for this. Right now, there's none under $50. For the most part, these are going closer to $60 right now, and they're just climbing. Of course, the Green Goblin is one of those. He's carrying the little flaming pumpkin, and the paint on it is so great. So these are on eBay. They are running. I have seen a lot as low as $50. But if you're a huge Spider-Man and you're trying to get those really rare, I would not mess around with this. Walgreens, apparently, if you're in smaller towns, and hit up those Walgreens. See if you're just lucky enough to find one of these and pay the standard $10. I paid $50 for this. He wouldn't go down in price. And I hadn't bought that much at the convention because I really didn't find anything. I did run into two other I did buy my brother this really cool Predator figure because my brother loves Predator. I bought him that, and then at the same booth that I bought at the convention exclusives one, I picked up the Freddy Krueger that came in the fold open box. It's a NECA. They had a NECA leather face, and it looked so cool, and it had all these accessories just like the Freddy. And it was $25. I was like, oh, this is a convention exclusive. It was really nice. I picked up the box, opened up the thing. I was like, oh, I'm going to buy this. And then I turn it over, and it's like, it's like a beveled edge, like a counter edge. Like, it's like somebody just took the box on the back and just smashed it hard. So I had this huge, deep dent all the way across the back side of it. I was like, ah. So I couldn't pick that up. I really wanted that. But I wasn't able to get that because I like to buy mint toys, and I'm real anal about that stuff. And I have one last thing, and I got this from the same booth that I got and I don't think I've ever seen this. I got the same booth as Green Goblin, and that is the black and white Clerks, Kevin Smith, Silent Bob figure. It's just really cool. I don't know if you can tell, but in the corner he's got like the boom box. I mean, of course it's all in black and white. He's got the boom box. He's actually got a backdrop. It's like, yeah, it comes with if you opened it up, it comes with the backdrop of the store that they work at. And they did have all of these guys. They had all four characters. He had just one of all four of them. And they're really big. And so this is a Diamond Select toy. And so I think I got this for $25, which actually was as big as this is, and as detailed, I thought, well, shoot, for $25, I'm not going to pass it up. He tried to get me to get all four of the whole four set, but at that point I was just like, I just bought the Green Goblin for $50, and I was like, I'm not going to drop any more money. I'll just buy the Kevin Smith because I feel like that might be the most collectible. And obviously, I'm obsessed with Kevin Smith, so. But yeah, that was it. Like I said, my girlfriend really didn't buy any. No, she literally just bought the Severus Snape pop. We had been looking for some other rarer pops, but we just couldn't find them. We had. Oh, and that was the other thing I really want to talk about. We went and saw Deadpool on Friday night, and it was awesome. We were just blown away by Deadpool. It was so funny, so dirty, so just done well. We laughed the whole time. I'm definitely going to buy it. It really reinvigorated me to go out and really dig into Deadpool and start reading Deadpool stuff. So the only thing is at the convention, all of the Deadpool stuff was like astronomically priced. Trade paperback stuff of like, collections of comics, instead of just buying single ones, they had big trade paperbacks. They were like double the price of what you would normally pay for them because they know they can get it. And most of the Deadpool stuff was pretty pricey there because, of course, with the exception of this really cool T-shirt. So yeah, that was all I got, guys. I was hoping to get more. I left there with a bunch of money still in my pocket. But like I said, the quality of vendors there was really bad. Weird stuff was there. It's starting to get so far away from what it was that it's almost unrecognizable. Me and my wife thought about maybe trying to go to, not this October because we won't have the money, but next October, trying to go out to New York Comic Con. We've always wanted to go to New York. That's kind of a bucket list for us anyway. So we're going to save our money, maybe go out for about 5 or 6 days, or 5 or 6 nights, go to the convention for a couple days, and then, hit up all the sites, go out to Ellis Island, Statue of Liberty, blah, 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 and really kind of make a vacation of it. Because we're getting a little frustrated with Wizard World. So, another thing is, too, this morning I was able to score, if any of you get Nerd Block, Horror Block, any of that, they sent out an email saying they're doing an exclusive C2E2. C2E2, or yeah, you know what I'm talking about. C2E2, I think is how it's called. Limited to 2,500 boxes. And I was able to score one this morning. So I have that coming as well, and I will do the unboxing for that. So that was pretty exciting. My Nerd Block's supposed to be here today. I'll hopefully do a video for that. We'll see. But overall, yeah, the con was a little... we had some great experience. Shatner was really cool. James Marshall was really cool. We did get some cool pictures. Not as many pictures this year. I wanted to get more. It was just weird. Yeah, I don't know. There was very little cosplay, in my opinion. I thought it would just be a sea of Deadpool. The only really upsetting thing I saw was, like, a family of Deadpool. They were all dressed up like Deadpool. There was 3 little girls and a boy and their parents. The little girls were ranging from looked like 8 to 13. And it was like, ugh, I have a hard time with that. Deadpool is for adults. Like, in no way is Deadpool for children. Like, even when we were at the theater, there was an 8 or 9-year-old boy in front of us. If you haven't seen Deadpool, once you do, you will realize, like, in no way should any child under the age of 17, well, maybe 16, should be in that theater. Like, it is super vulgar. That's all I'm going to say for right now until you see it. But go out and see Deadpool. It's amazing. Sorry I'm rambling now. I had to get a lot off my chest, so I normally don't ramble this much, but I want to tell you about Portland Comic Con and everything that happened and show you guys all the stuff I got. If you really want that that Green Goblin pop chase, get on eBay, get it now, because I guarantee it's going to be gone in a New York minute. So yeah, look for my exclusive C2E2 boxes. I don't know when it's coming. I got the confirmation email saying that I purchased it, but I don't know when it's actually coming. They didn't say. So look for that. Hopefully Nerd Block will be up today too. But that's it, guys, and thanks for watching.